Once upon a time, in a quiet little town nestled between rolling hills and narrow streets, lived a 15-year-old boy named Ethan Carter. He was small for his age, quiet, and always sat on the last bench in class. His clothes were worn, his shoes had holes, and he seemed invisible to most of the world. The teachers barely noticed him, and the other students whispered and laughed, calling him the Invisible Boy. But nobody knew Ethan's story. Every morning, he walked 3 kilometers to school, his shoes barely holding together, and carried a heavy heart filled with dreams. At night, he worked at a small diner to support his sick mother and younger sister. He washed dishes, served food, and counted every penny to make sure there was enough for the family. Yet, despite the exhaustion, each night before going to bed, he would sit by the window, stare at the stars, and whisper to himself, "One day, I will become a great scientist. The world will know my name." One crisp autumn morning, a new science teacher arrived at the school. Her name was Ms. Claire Simmons, known for her sharp mind and kind heart. On her first day, she noticed Ethan sitting quietly at the back of the class, hunched over his notebook. She walked slowly to him and asked, "Tell me, what do you want to become?" The classroom erupted in laughter. Some students whispered, "He probably has no dreams." But Ethan looked up, eyes steady despite the teasing, and said softly, "I want to be a scientist. I want to discover something big, something that can change the world." The room went silent. Ms. Simmons smiled and said, "Then you must sit in the front row from today. Dreams like that need attention." From that moment, Ethan's life began to shift. Ms. Simmons stayed after class, giving him extra lessons, lending him old science magazines and textbooks she had collected over the years. Ethan devoured every page, staying up late into the night by candlelight, scribbling notes, asking questions, solving problems, and imagining inventions that could change the world. But life was never easy. There were nights when his mother had no medicine, days when there was barely food to eat. One harsh winter, he caught a cold so severe it left him weak, yet he walked to school through the biting wind, clutching his books tightly. His hands froze, but he refused to give up. People in town would shake their heads. "Poor boys do not become scientists," they said. Ethan simply replied to himself, "Let me prove that wrong." Years passed. Rejections came, scholarships slipped through his fingers, and failure knocked on his door repeatedly. But Ethan's determination never wavered. Eventually, he earned a scholarship to a prestigious university in the city. He lived in a small, dimly lit dorm room, often going hungry, but his spirit thrived in the laboratory. He experimented endlessly, tested ideas, failed countless times, and slowly, step by step, built something extraordinary. And then one day, after years of tireless effort, it happened. Ethan made a breakthrough, a small yet powerful invention in clean energy that could change the way people lived. His work was published in international journals. Awards followed. Universities invited him to speak. Newspapers called him the boy who never gave up. At a global science conference, Ethan stood on stage before thousands of people from all over the world. Cameras flashed, journalists scribbled, and the audience waited in anticipation. He took a deep breath and spoke, his voice calm, yet resonant. "I was once the boy on the last bench, the one who had nothing but a dream, the one people laughed at. But I had a teacher who believed in me, and I believed in myself. That was enough." The audience leaned in, captivated by his words. Tears filled his eyes as he continued, "Never let your background define your future. If you are poor, tired, or broken, still dream big. Even if no one claps for you now, keep working. One day, the whole world will stand up for you." The hall erupted in applause, but Ethan's heart was already thinking of the next problem to solve, the next challenge to conquer. And so, the boy who had once walked 3 kilometers to school, who had worked nights to support his family, who had been invisible to the world, had finally reached the stars. Ethan's story became a beacon of hope for countless children. He visited schools and towns not to boast, but to inspire. He told them, "It doesn't matter where you start. It doesn't matter how small you feel or how little people see you. Dreams are real, but they only become reality when matched with courage, discipline, and belief in yourself." Ethan's life proved a simple truth. Greatness is not born from comfort. It is forged in struggle, nurtured in silence, and carried forward by those who refuse to quit. And somewhere, under the same night sky he had once stared at, Ethan would pause, look at the stars, and whisper, "Keep dreaming, keep believing, keep going. The world is waiting for you."